So this is going to be interesting, probably. Maybe not. Who knows? But I mean, the vacuous roar of utter simple immediacy is very present. Vacuous roar of absolute immediate simplicity. But I printed off some stuff for a few of the online courses, and I thought maybe if I just read something this top will find its seat. Simple, 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 simple. Not in the way of the mind pasting on a everything's good Band-Aid veneer. We're not going there. That just adds to the eons and eons and eons and eons of repression, suppression, masking, compensating, role playing of not enough. So that's not what we're doing. But it is simple in that it's naked of all of that, unadorned and only ever immediate. Some of this is from the online course called Eternal Wholeness that was deemed by several as not, I don't know, I can't remember the exact words, but like, I don't know. Anyway, I thought Eternal Wholeness was great. And I went back and read some of the session notes that go with the clips of that online study course. And I was like, And you've heard me say that everything is love, all is love. Love is all and always love, but probably more accurate and closer to the truth is to say that love is beyond everything and beyond nothing. It's empty of duality and opposition and this and that. It's beyond language, but you know it. You know it. It knows itself within you, as you, within you, as you. It recognizes itself through this instrument, this divine expression. And when we start living as that, in the world, but not of the world, but in the world. Easy to hang out and not of when you're spiritual. I'm empty of all of that. In the world. Start living as that. With that realization and recognition that the mind-body structure is love, is divinity. Then the spell, the trance of unworthiness and its mask of specialness, the trance of good versus evil disappears. It disappears. It disappears. Dr. Hawkins had a demarcation line. His scale of consciousness is brilliant, but it involves numbers. So for some people, it's just not accessible to their closed mind around numbers. It was based on all kinesiology, muscle testing, every single, even at the events that he taught. If something came out of his mouth that he had never said before, he walked over to his wife and they muscle tested it. He'd be like, wait a minute, we've never said it. And the line of integrity was courage. Level 200, courage. The courage that it takes, the sincerity that it takes to be present compassionately, gently, kindly. You know, I had this vision of like, if you see the Buddha on the road, kill the Buddha. That's a Buddhist principle. In the full circle, it might sound more like, if you see the identification on the side of the road, lovingly understand it and kiss it goodbye. Simple. It's simple. And it takes so much courage to be that naked of all of the ways we've believed ourselves to be that are based in not enough and masked with very special. It takes a lot. But the good news, the reality, at least from this here, in this case, is the redeeming presence that doesn't require absence. It's not based on absence. It's not in relationship to absence. It is. Knows. It's not like knowing with a mental acuity. Let's see, Aja called it intuitive regard. I think that's a Meister Eckhart quote. Has an intuitive regard for itself as itself, and it naturally moves as love, harmony, peace. Like water is wet. It's not deciding. It's not like the sun going, some days I shine if they really work hard. Some days I don't. It's not like that. That's how it moves. That's the good news. So the simplicity of keeping one's attention, it's a matter of attention and identification. It just, at least in this case, boils down to it every single time. The imbalance is a matter of attention and identification. And then, as I just said in his introduction to the Way of Liberation that we read yesterday, it's your choice. There's no shoulds. There's no shouldn'ts. There's no have-tos. Go there. Go with the familiar. That's the right word, right? Familiar. Or as Karma Chogyam said back when he was young Stephen and coming to the retreats here, keep your eye on God. Go to the sense, the embodied sense. Not some, I read it, so and so said it, da da da. The embodied sense. That embodied sense. Reorient to that. And receive. And eventually, what begins to happen in a really kind of very subtle way. It's not really like the rock and roll show of the Fire of Transformation, which enjoy that while you can, because that really is a rock and roll show of like, I won't be this and I won't be good anymore and I'm not doing this and then the fire and the flames are shooting out of your head and your eyes and you're like, just try me, man, just try me. You know, I am reclaiming myself. That is its own thing and it is wild. But what I'm talking about right now, or trying to, is the more subtle wearing away, like the river in the Grand Canyon, of the layers. And eventually there's a sense of, oh, this is real hard to talk about. There's no reflection, there's no self-reflection anymore. It's not talking to itself anymore. And the view is immediacy. And you may think you've grokked that. Look into it. Infinite continuum. I think it was Trungpa Rinpoche who said, the challenging news is that you're falling through space. The good news is there's no place to land. Padmasambhava. The abyss is a falling that is you. Strangely, you begin to be in love, through love, from love, as love, in a way that is so unbearably poignant and precious and authentic, unmasked, unadorned, naked. That smallest hair, smallest little tiny hair of a gap between this and that, heaven and hell, heaven and earth. Absolute and relative, good and evil. What a relief. For that struggling thought that can't live up to its ideals and its opinions, its ideas about everything. And not only freeing up the authenticity of this expression, but all the other expressions as well. So that whole dynamic of like, I'm not good enough, I try to be special enough because I can't disappoint, which is basically our requirement of other people and reality, as in they can't have their experience because this isn't strong enough to handle it. That's a big one. That's a big hoop of initiation there. Being able to to enjoy, to enjoy their reactions. It's enjoyable. It's the teacher. There's plenty of time and to everything. There's a season. I'm not saying you blip out into fantasy land where you're like just a doormat. There's yeses, there's no thank yous, there's, as we've said, with discernment, you are driving your car through Yellowstone, and when the grizzly bears come out, you see that they are grizzly bears, not cartoons you want to get out of the car and play with. No, that's a grizzly bear. That's what it is. I think I'll stay in the car. No problem. Grizzly bears aren't terrible things to be avoided at all costs. Toxic. I can't be around them. Can't do it. Just eye on God. Simple, simple, simple. Not in a masked pretense, but in a recognition of what is beyond all of the having, needing, deciding, identifying. I hope that we will be gentle and kind with ourselves as the last vestiges of false selfhood circle the drain, because it's not trivial. Everyone in here knows that, of their own accord, of their own direct experience. And many times we've landed, right? In one of those good zones. I had an inside, baby, and that inside is going to carry me down the river of Jordan. Well, yeah, I really do encourage and invite. I used to use the metaphor of like having tea with a friend, because in this experience, like if a friend called me and said, can we just chat for a little bit? I would look forward to that listening experience. I wouldn't feel like, it was some kind of fix that I needed to provide, like when I'm in the mom role or something. I just would be very available as a listening presence. We don't tend to judge our friends. Like having tea with a friend when these identifications come to call, these fears, the pieces of consciousness that are under the influence of the levels of consciousness itself. They're under the influence of it. The personhood is under the influence. Barb was reminding me that I sometimes have used a metaphor of a building for the levels of consciousness. And on the ground floor, if you look out the window, you might see two people walking by. That's your view. That's your view. But as you start transcending the levels of consciousness, or take the elevator up to the different floors, you see more and more of the street, right? So it's not that the two people aren't real or untrue, but they are part of a much greater whole. As you change the view changes. And so there isn't a blame shame game going on for the view that only sees two people and swears there's only two people on the street. That's all that there is on that street, two people. That's the view. They're under the influence of that view. Some of the views are grim, completely unconscious, 100% unconscious. I won't go too far into this, don't worry. There was a little bit of worry yesterday with the CPS thing, the protective services thing. But I mean, I have sat with absolute unconsciousness. People under the influence of deep, deep deep psychosis. Discernment just, it has to come online. But in order for discernment to come online, a great amount of letting go of the judgments of this is this, and when it's this, I do this, and that is that, and that's how it looks when it's in relationship to this, and the whole thing of judgment, the whole game, the whole schemata of the 9 billion mind worlds that just float around pretending they have no relationship to each other. Really. This is why the unified view that does become realized, we saw it last night, is so liberating. It's so liberating. Because the us and the them can't hold up to it. Can't hold up to that view. And while it's a little bit shaky ground to let go of us and them, it's, in the long run, it's liberation. I'm wandering vaguely. Let's see what I have. I guess I'm just trying to give maybe some seed thoughts, or not thoughts, I don't know, seed senses within your own awareness to carry with you at the door tomorrow. Since the last talk. Directly encountering what is naturally, immovably, indivisibly at peace, right here and now, through all circumstances, is the genesis of bringing peace into form. That's the truth. Into the world of existence, it's an opportunity to recognize that our lives are already, always and already whole and inseparable from the fundamental ground of being. And here's the kicker. It's an invitation to consciously, lovingly, faithfully cleave to that recognition. Sow yourself to it. So that the peace beyond understanding is made conscious and awakened to itself. Surrender of I'm not good enough. Beyond unworthiness and specialness is true authenticity and true power. Won't it be amazing when the whole disempowering thought form of victimhood is no longer believed? So disempowering to feel that it's out there. Love is, baby. I'm gonna read this and I think that'll be good enough. Just a little quote that I found that meant a lot to me at certain times when it just felt like you're still trying to understand it. And that's really natural. It's natural for the intellect to try and understand it. That's a very natural thing. It finally has to relax and realize it's not going to, but it's very natural. And it actually can facilitate, you know? I mean, I used to walk around Adyashanti retreats with like this whole dialogue thing going on in the intellect between me and Aja, and like, you know, all this stuff. And I gotta say, it helped, you know? So, I mean, the focus of the intellect gets more and more keen, right? Which is lovely. It's not so just like whatever. I mean, pulled off into fantasy. We had somebody come to retreat one time who said every time she was walking around Cove on the free time, just loads of like, you know, days of our lives stuff was going through her head about her friends and what they were doing while she was at silent retreat. And then she just tell herself fake news, fake news, fake news. I just loved that. But I mean, eventually most of that starts kind of draining out, and that's the intellect is more like compelled towards the supreme. It probably doesn't understand that it's going to lose its seat of magnificence, but emperor intellect. But anyway, this always came in just like sometimes I would read it at the end of the day to myself after retreat, and it's like trying to figure, she said this, he said that, you know. It's from Su Yun, a Chinese Chan master who lived from 1840 to 1959. It's called Searching for the Dharma. You've traveled up 10,000 steps in search of the Dharma. So many long days in the archives, copying. The gravity of the Tang teaching, the profundity of the Sung teaching, making heavy baggage. Here, I've picked you a bunch of wildflowers. Their meaning is the same, but they're much easier to carry. We're not against intellect or anything, right? Anything that's useful, skillful means in the moment, but it's a good reminder. Life itself, beingness itself, love itself. Never far, not distant, not achievable, not manufactured, uncreated, simple, profound, is. So I think we have some extra time here. Thank you.